those projects. Welcome to my first of workshop improvements series, where I intend to make a couple of things for the workshop which will, create an opportunity for myself to be able to do things like just cut out some slabs out of any sort of log firewood you can get from a firewood yard, or if you go out to scrub, out the bush, find it yourself. You can sort of cut them down to a manageable size where you can, transport them into your garage, and by using your own bandsaw, just cut yourself some slabs, whether they're this big or potentially, a metre long. So this is a project you can do with a bandsaw, and I'm lucky. I built this little portable table a couple of years ago, and it is just uncanny. Sometimes the stars align and things fall in your favour, because it is, in fact, about exactly the same height as the bandsaw table sits. So to me, that's lucky. Normally I'm about, that much under or that much over, and you've got to start again. So I'm taking this one as a win. So what I intend to do, I'm going to build an infeed table, which will allow me a fair bit of infeed, and then I'll look to see if any additional width is needed. But given the weight of timber, like hardwoods in Australia, or anywhere in the world I should say, they're quite heavy. So at times you may have a bit cut a little bit longer, and it may be a two-person job to lift this up to the work table, and then it's just a matter of putting that onto your jig and cutting through. But we'll get one bit at a time done. So first thing is, we're going to build a little infeed table using scrap stuff here. It's funny how we say scraps. It's all pretty good, but it's just leftovers, and we can adapt that to do the next job. So this is a bit of board. It's an MDF, has a cover, a coating on top here. Don't know what you call it, but I'll take it. This was in the shop front, and I was throwing it out, so I thought, seize the opportunity, and I did, and it didn't cost me anything, so that's a bonus. Just using pine. This pine is just going to construct the frame. I'm going to knock this up. This is going to be the top. Got to do a few little modifications, and we're going to allow this infeed table then to be connected with a nut and bolt setup to the actual cast iron top here. So this is going to be a two-part build. First part will be making the table, observing if it's enough, do I need to extend, or do all those things. And for the second part of this project, I'm going to be building the jig, which will actually hold the log and give me enable me to be able to push that through. There we go, blooper. To be able to push that through and cut myself some nice slabs. And look, these are great things to make little boxes up, especially if it's made from hardwood. I know I use pine panel like a lot of people do, but then you've got to stain it. You've got to do all these things. If you get the natural stuff, it's got all the character. You just got to hunt around, and when you do find it, cut it up, give it a great sand, get it nice and smooth, and your projects will glisten. It's a good way to do it. So anyway, let's hook into this build. So the height I'm getting here is about 920 mil or 36 inches. There are two 10 mil through holes here on the cast iron top. This is simply where I'm going to be attaching a bit of the table once it's rigged up, and that'll lock it into place securely. This MDF is approximately 10 mil, so I'll just make sure I can get it as accurate as I can. I'm cutting 4 legs down to minus 10 mil off the 920 overall height, so 910 mil. I'm removing 2 corners right angle to each other, they have pre-existing cutouts in them, and these may cause a little bit of interference with the jig as it slides along the top of the table. Yeah, when you have your components cut out, always a bit of fun, lay things out and see how they drop into place. Hopefully if you cut everything right, it'll be hunky-dory. Using pocket hole screws here, they'll build the frame for the base on which the top will sit on. Here I'm just hogging away some material on the bandsaw, just makes it easy, and then I'll run over to the table saw and cut it the other way. This is to just create a gap between the fence and the fence railings. Merely pre-drilling and putting in some of your normal screws to attach that top to the actual base frame. So I'm using a combination Stanley square. It helps you square up your base to your top, or top to the base, and then I just added half the material thickness and adjusted the square once again, and just lined up the drill and drilled the holes. So I've clamped this piece of wood here. That's going to be the part I attach to the cast iron top. Just marked it out with a pencil and over to the drill, and drilling a couple of oversized holes. I've added a little shelf here, just as a matter of giving this frame a little bit more stabilisation. You know, it's nothing fancy. I just put it together and a couple of screws, attached it, put a little place to store things such as paddles. Also, a little toolbox, you know, all the adjustable wrenches that are needed to do adjustments on the bandsaw, so it's just handy to have that as well. So all in all, I'm very happy with this so far. It's coming into, falling into place. When things like that happen, you've got to be happy, don't you? So the overall infeed, we have about 970 millimetres, which equates to approximately 38 inches. So that's a substantial amount of infeed, and it'll do what I'm sort of, you know, aiming to do. As I said, the hardwood is heavy, so it's being able to handle things and, you know, making sure it works that way. So you can see, this is nice and flat. Feed it in, we cut through. There's nothing hindering the material here, so that's how we're looking to have it operate when it's up and running. Now we're going to make up the jig part of this build. For this, I'm using some, once again, some stuff I had standing up, not laying around. This is just pine board. It's quite lucky that I have this because it's quite thick. It's about 30 millimetres or 1.25 inches, and I've cut this to a width of approximately 400 millimetres or 15 3/4 inches, and made it a length of just shy of 1200 millimetres, probably about 1185, which is about 46.5 inches. So this is going to be the trial piece of the trial jig sled, and I've cut this one a little bit longer because I want to experiment and see what I can potentially do. If I'm on my own, you know, don't need any assistance, so can I get the particular block of wood up onto this, and then can I make that feed pass through myself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some T-track. This is always available from your woodworking stores, and it's really good to have. So what I'll do is I'll just cut a bit of a slot out, or a dado, and I'll insert that into it, and then I'm going to make... So what this will enable us to do is have a two-part mechanism where I can then slide, I'm going to make this part, which we'll see, slide the log up once it's fixed to the jig, and slide that up to the fence at the desired thickness. I'm going to be probably preferring to go 30 millimetres or just a bit over an inch, and then the rest of the machining can get done. But that's a good workable thickness to go as. So, as things happen when you're machining, you may always get a little bit of tear out, but you know, just grab a file, a bit of sandpaper, and clean it up. I'm attaching the base of this jig and the part that's going to hold the logs. Just pre-drilling. I'm going to just use screws. As you can see, I've marked a few holes here in different positions, and what they're for is they will, depending on the diameter or the way the log looks, it's just a location to put a screw in and hold that log to the jig. So one of the great things about making workshop builds, jigs, fixtures, you don't have to really hide too much. Glues and screws will suffice, and this just makes the process of making things a bit quicker. What you see me doing here is squaring this jig up now to the base of the cast iron top, and I'm getting the jig as close as I can to the actual saw blade, and I'm down this ruler line here underneath and attach a cleat. So this will be how it works. Alright, the litmus test. First cut's going to be cutting just a rough section out of your log, and once we've done that, we're going to bring that fence in to, as I mentioned earlier, approximately 30 mil, inch and a quarter size slab I would like to cut. Then we'll just bring the log up and get that touching that fence, not too hard, but as you can see, and tighten up your nuts on your T-bolts and make that feed through. This is the maiden voyage of first cut. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the result so far, and I can see this jig coming in very handy for a lot of time and operations ahead.